Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Dr. Mirage, issue number 1. Yeah, I have no idea who this character is. I've never seen this character before. I've never heard of this character before. I read this issue, sign me the hell up. Put this in my pull list. Let's get talking about who made this comic book so I can start telling you just a little bit about the comic book, because it's effing awesome. All right, written by Magdalene Visaggio, art by Nick Robles. Sorry, I'm butchering names. Jordi Belair as on colors, Dave Sharp on letters, and let's see, what do we got here as far as covers? Philip Tan and J. David Ramos, Roberta Ingranata with Warnia Shadawa. Okay, there's some really wicked names in here, and I apologize for butchering all of your names. Nick Robles and Jeff Deckel, MJ Kim, and Jordi Belair. So there's a bunch of variant covers for this, and good, because I like this. Look, man, I maintain that the art in Valiant Comics, they make sure the art is good. As far as the stories are concerned, my only gripe is ever that I can never understand who these characters are, because they don't usually make these comic books good in regards to making them jumping on points. And of all things, an issue number 1 should be, hey, guess what? This was a really good jumping on point, because even though this is a pre-established character and there's clearly a huge slew of history behind these guys, I don't actually need to know anything more than what they've already given me in this comic book to get a gist of what's going on. Hell, it kind of makes me want to go back and read those just a little bit. And maybe they can make me want to go back and read more as this issue, or as this comic book continues. But for now, I'm good with just staying on here right now. This is an awesome comic book. You see this stuff right here, Enochian? This is the language of Enoch, the one of the angels of God. John Dee actually deciphered these from looking into a prism. More specifically, it was a crystal ball. But funnily enough, we always get this idea of a crystal ball. For him, it was a crystal. What do you call a 3-sided, 4-sided, like a 4-sided die? 4-sided. It's not quite a pyramid. It didn't have four. It was 3 sides and then the bottom side. So as opposed to a pyramid. Anyway, it was basically a 3-dimensional triangle. So there. Yes, and that's when he was able to scry and learn the language and understand it, and then things just went freaking crazy from there. Anyhow, when they released the images for, or they wanted to start building up hype for this comic book, Valiant on Twitter put out this. Boop! And that was it. They apparently left it on the desks of all of the employees at Valiant also, which is interesting. Go and check out my my interview with, oh crap, this is going to be annoying. I can't remember his name now. Bob Layman. There we go, Bob Layman. He was in charge of Valiant after the ousting of Jim Shooter. Interesting story there, and I also have an exclusive interview with Jim Shooter where he'll talk about that also. But anyway, both these guys together, and you get to see the inner workings of the way that the things were done back then. Either way, so that's the image that I have in my head when I'm thinking about putting these on everybody's desk, because I'm like, oh, it's a big kumbaya session, right? So I don't know if any of them were able to figure it out, but as soon as they put it online, I saw it 2 hours later. I was like, oh, hey, I know almost all of these symbols. And then right away I was like, shoot, can I be the first? And I was like, it's 2 hours old. I'm like, there ain't no way that somebody hasn't already deciphered this. And apparently within 3 minutes, somebody already deciphered and put on there. It said Mirage. So everybody knew right away it was Dr. Mirage. And Valiant had to be like, yes, so I guess you guys were able to determine it was Dr. Mirage. I bet they thought it was going to take a little bit longer than that, right? No, you'd be surprised how many people are interested in the occult. Wow. So but still, that was a freaking fantastic idea to do. I love, that's what we talk about when we talk about, it's not quite guerrilla marketing, but really good catch your interest marketing. It could have been put out better, but no complaints. As far as this comic book itself, Dr. Mirage is this character who, from what I understand of her, from what I understand of my own studies in the occult, is that she doesn't take this stuff as seriously as she necessarily should. Magical forces are a dangerous, scary thing to investigate because it will terrify you, especially if you're religious. You could wind up having yourself a heart attack just trying to work your way through some of the crazy things that are called for in this. And the first part of it all is the study and the research and the understanding of what could happen if you do something wrong. You don't believe in this stuff and it's all fake? Good, cool, no worries, right? In the meantime, yeah, this is, I guess they could say the same thing about, oh, well, then don't worry about, sins because nobody's going to get struck by lightning, right? No matter how you look at it. If the world of, if the thaumaturgical world, were indeed actually real, this is what you would have. You would have this character who would think, I can just look at a couple things and I could sit there and eat and num, 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 and, look at a book sideways while, and try, and that's my studying. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're sitting on a bed and doing this. No. I could tell you about people in the religious world, magical world, you name it, where they would sit, take Sheikh Al-Albani for one. Probably one of the best cases. He reorganized the Library of Damascus and turned it from a nothing mess into one of the premier libraries in the world. Haven't heard of it? Need to get out more. He was known for climbing up a ladder to look through the shelves to find stuff, and he would find all these different documents spread all over the place from books whose spines had broken, and they're like, put this back, oh, here's another piece, where did I put the other piece, whatever, I'll just stick it here. People who just didn't care, and he's finding like manuscripts all over the place that all go together in one book, and he's rebinding them and putting them together, but he's got to read them first because they're not exactly paged out, like page numbers and whatnot, so he's putting page numbers on them. And like, he was known for being up on a ladder for hours reading a book while he's up there because it takes too much time to come down and sit down at a table and read, and being up there and falling asleep, because being asleep on the ladder, like this, falling asleep looking at this, like that is what actual devotion towards studying something is, because you know how dangerous it is to not do something right. And especially in this kind of a superhero world where, oh my God, I can open up a portal to hell. Yeah, it probably helps to actually give a rat's ass about what you're doing. Right now, it's my understanding this character just doesn't care enough about the fact that this can happen. Ooh, that's cool. That's interesting. That's really interesting, because you usually get like the Doctor Strange, over in Marvel, or the Dr. Fate over in DC. These characters that just really get it. And even somebody like a John Constantine, where you got, oh, I've got sorcerer blood within me, plus I'm like this ultimate bard, and every word I say could kill you, so you better be careful. And he takes it kind of flippantly, but he can, because he really does know how to study and whatnot. And here's this character who can talk to ghosts, and yet she wants to study magic also. The ghosts aren't talking to her anymore. The dead side. Oh, so now there's a link to Shadow Man. Oh, I can't wait to see that crossover. Now here comes somebody else who actually understands what's really going on. Why? Because she understands where they actually are. I'm not here to give you guys spoilers. I'm here to try and whet your appetite, my peeps. This feels like a character who I am going to love watching. I'm sure that at some point she's going to wind up getting really annoying, and I'm just going to be like, oh my God, somebody slap her, because she's just not taking things seriously the way that she should. But I think that she's about to get a reality check that's going to change that up. So this is going to be a delicate process to try and put the whole flippant, yeah, I can study the magic, whatever. It's just, I can do this stuff, okay? I'm smart. I got a good grade in the SATs, blah, 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 whatever. But if you're not really, really careful, nah, man, sitting on your bed, eating a bowl of cereal or whatever while you're reading a delicate, sacred manuscript that could open a portal to hell, damn. I can't. Ooh. Meanwhile, she's got to start taking things seriously. Yeah, that's going to be a precarious balance to maintain. But if Mags Visaggio can do that, well, I am all for this trip. And again, the art. I love the art inside of this. It is perfect for this book. I mentioned before in my Killers issue number 2 review that I love the way that they do the art in these books. They really take it seriously. Well, now I'm seeing with this book, they're also careful about which artist they put with which writer and specifically which story. Because this art wouldn't have worked in a Bloodshot book, but it works great in this book. And I wouldn't want to see Bloodshot art in this book. It wouldn't work. So they really care about that, and that is fantastic. It's great to see some of the inner workings. I'm really digging this. Hey, also for the sake of conversation, the next issue is on sale September 25th, which also coincidentally is when Bloodshot issue number 1 comes out by Tim Seeley. If you want to know a little preview about what happens in there, go check out my Killers issue number 2 review, which should have come out at the same time that this one came out. And, I'll make sure I put a link up in the appropriate, places so that you can see them. But dude, I'm telling you, all of these books right now are worth it. Valiant is doing a kick-ass job. And yes, Valiant just started sending me stuff. So maybe I'm letting a little bit of that seep into my head. But honestly, the way that Valiant is doing things right now, my only big complaint that I ever had with Valiant Comics was nothing is a jumping on point, even number 1s. That's changing. Killers issue number 1 was great. At issue 2, which I just reviewed, is also great. Dr. Mirage number 1 is great. The Shadow Man series that just came out recently was great. And the Deadshot issue number 1, which they gave me the entire comic book, was great. There's a non-spoiler preview in the back of this book, but there's a non-spoiler preview that I give in Killers issue number 2. Go and check that out if you want more. Dude, Valiant's coming up, my peeps. Valiant is coming up, and I am seriously looking forward to seeing a whole lot more of all these characters. Yeah, I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.